Becky Biting has a question about my envelopes. I'm going to get some help here. I used some cheap cardstock, color book textured cardstock from Walmart, $2 and something. You have to tear the paper off the top, but that's what I use when I make envelopes. It's a good sturdy envelope. I like to buy the packs that come with the card as well as the envelope. See, and my little friends are here to help show you what the set looks like. I do have an envelope punch board, and I do use it. I have used it most recently to make both the 3x3 note cards and the envelopes for the little gifts I've been giving out. Karen Woolsey asked me how I store my clear stamps. Well, not very well. Sorry, Tim Holtz. I have a drawer that I cram them in. I don't have very many stamps, red rubber or clear or whatever, because I just don't enjoy rubber stamping. I'm going to have to try and spend a little bit more time with it. Right now I have 4 drawers of various sizes and companies. They're not in any order. And then on the other side, I have, oops, you aren't supposed to see that. That's my stash of unfinished stuff. So there's my stamps. Debbie Grafius asked what was behind me. The lovely things behind me. They're fans that I made. I have a video on how to make these, and I can share with you a template. Sophie's Choice has some questions about embossing powders. This is deep impression. This is really thick stuff, and this is not easy to use. You see, it's real chunky, and it'll blow away when you heat it from the top. So you don't really want to do that until you're more successful. I would recommend that you buy the finer powder of the clear. And you can find fine grains in every color. Read the instructions on the back to see what you need to do. This particular powder has to be heated from the underside to make it work. And the gold, that's from the top, and this pink is from the top. So these are all of my colors. These are all of the embossing powders that I have. And yeah, this is why some of my embossing powders are tainted. I'm using 2" by 8.5" pieces of Whisper White cardstock. I'm going to start with this Gobble Gobble stamp from Stampin' Up! It's really old. And I'm going to use Versamark. This is an ink that you need to have to do embossing. Stamp it good and apply it to the paper and make sure that you can see the ink. Now I'm going to show you this deep impression stuff. Sprinkle it over your embossed image and then tap it off, and you'll see that the stuff is there. But remember, go from the underside when you use a thick stuff. Heat it until you can start to see some wonky little bubbles happening on the top. Then you can go turn the heat tool to the top, and then that way your stuff isn't going to blow away. When you look at it, it's kind of puddly. It's not a smooth surface. Now I'm going to re-ink and re-stamp the turkey thing, and this time I'm using fine clear powder. And yeah, there's my nemesis that has made a mess of my powder. Sprinkle that all over and tap it off, and you can see how smooth that is. And you heat it from the top, and then I'll show you the comparison. This is the deep stuff, and this is the fine stuff. Now, clear. I recommend you stick with clear for a while because you can use your ink markers, your dye-based markers. Ink your stamp with Versamark first before you start coloring. And you can use any color you want. Now, I'm not the world's best colorer, so this is an example only. And you will tap, you won't scrub, you will tap the side of the brush wherever you want it, stamp it down on your paper, lay the clear embossing powder over it, and then heat it up. And then voila! You have a masterpiece. Now I'm going to use the little boo stamp, and I have some, I put some Versamark on there. I have some iridescent ice embossing powder that's glittery, and it's clear. So you see all the glitter things that are in there. And there, it's on the boo before I heat it, and that's what it looks like after it's heated and the embossing powder has sealed. So I'm going to put Versamark on first and then black ink over the top of that and stamp it to the paper. And then I'm going to use some more of the iridescent ice, clear embossing powder, and sprinkle it all over and tap it off, and then heat it. And then you have a cute, shiny boo. Now I'm going to use Dasher. This is an old Stampin' Up! Stamp. Getting ready for Christmas. I'm going to use Versamark first and then chocolate chip. So there's the Versamark on the stamp first. And now I've applied the chocolate chip. Stamp it to the paper. And then the first thing I'm going to do is the antlers with the iridescent ice. Just try to get on the antlers as much as you can. And then the regular clear on the rest of the body. And tap off the iridescent first before you even apply the regular clear. And then heat it up. And then you have a beautiful Christmas ornament. So, hey, use your dye-based inks and your colored inks with clear embossing folders. Powder! Good grief.